That's the Manatee County property, too. Let's do the one, what's it actually called? Sheps. Area. Commissioner Mayo.
I've been to these other two properties. I had Thanksgiving day breakfast on Sheps Island with all of my friends. Actually, on the other property that we'll get to in a minute, I reintroduced the two ladies in the front row to several of the owners of Sheps Island. I don't have any heartburn on Sheps Island with sending a letter, provided, again, these are voluntary sales and the owners of the property are being kept up to speed on the appraisals that are being done.
Mr. Caragill?
Yeah, I echo that. That is, very recently I was on the property as well. It's an absolutely beautiful piece of property. And all three of these are really good, have really great, they're great spaces, but I think that this one obviously makes sense for some very specific reasons, and I echo and support what Commissioner Mayo just outlined.
Any other further discussion or questions? Is there a motion?
Move to direct staff to draft a letter of support
And authorize me to sign it.
and authorize chairman to sign.
Moved by Commissioner Caragiulo, second by Commissioner Mayo. Discussion.
For, be specific, because,
To Sheps Island.
yeah.
So we're going to, so far, I'm going to, well, let's vote on it. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, chair votes aye, passed unanimously. So far, we'll have a letter to deal with the property, Manatee County, Sheps Island, that I'm authorized to sign. And then let's go to number 3, property that including part of Northport, Walton Track, or Orange Hammock. Who wants to start this one off? Mr. Caragiulo?
You know, I'm a big fan of the Conservation Foundation. I brought my cup today. That's totally by accident. No, it really was totally by accident. And if one could see how this property, again, makes a lot of sense. It is. I was on this property within the last 12 months. It's another beautiful property. If you look at the potential for connectivity to other similar properties, it's really wonderful. However, the conflict that I have is, as someone who is a strong believer in home rule, I have a real problem doing something, putting out a letter in support when we have the municipality clearly identifying that this is not, they are not on board. Well, one could say, well, the property owner has to be okay and has to get into all that, but I think that it's a step in the wrong direction with, quote-unquote, working with our municipalities. So I'm very conflicted for that particular reason, and I don't want to get in a situation of going against what a municipality as a collective body has identified as their opinion.
Commissioner Mayo?
Again, I've been on this property many, many times. I'm not going to vote to go against the wishes of Northport. They need to speak first. But I would just add to everybody, including the folks in Northport, this is a good portion of this property probably should be conserved. There's also a piece of this property that has significant possibilities for the tax base in Northport. All the parties need to get together and declare which parcels are which. I think it's an order of magnitude of about 9 sections. So which sections have some potential to increase the tax base in Northport?
Commissioner Robinson?
This process has been very damaging and for what should be a good result, but the end just does not justify the means by which we got to this point. And let me explain what I mean by that. We saw two letters from that were accompanying it. One from Senator Dietert and one from Congressman Buchanan. The one from Senator Dietert was relatively recently. I called Senator Dietert, and let's just say from my conversation, I don't believe I don't believe she knew about the position of the city of Northport at that particular when the letter was presented to her to sign. I also contacted Congressman Buchanan's office, spoke with Sally Tibbetts. They acknowledged the letter was written prior to Northport taking a position on this. And Sally also said they probably would not have taken a position if they knew that there was local opposition, because their general policy is that the locals know best. So, you know, this has not been a very positive experience for folks, and it's really, really unfortunate. I hope that there are lessons learned from the way this has come about. There's clearly a lack of trust in what's going on here. Clearly, you know, we have that, and we also have, everybody clearly acknowledges there's a portion of this property that needs to be conserved. Even the folks who are protesting it today, everybody I've spoken to, not one of them has not acknowledged that we've got a portion of this property needs to be preserved. Unfortunately, the process by which we've gotten here has tainted everybody's trust of each other, and that's remarkable. I mean, it really is. It really is. And so one of the issues that have been brought forward to me and mentioned by several people who are pro pushing this forward is that Northport doesn't appreciate in general what they've got around them as far as the environmental lands. And my response is, that's our fault. That's our fault as in county government. It's the fault of those who advocate to preserve these lands, because the next step should be opening up these lands, which we are trying to do now, which we've finally woken up and tried to do, to allow Northport to appreciate what's around them. And so that's our fault. That rests on our shoulders and the folks who work to preserve these lands, that we're not working just as hard to open up these lands to allow that appreciation to occur. So we have a lot of work to do within the community. We have a lot of work to do. The Conservation Foundation has a lot of work to do to make sure that trust is gained back by the local governments and the government officials. So we have a problem here, and this is a symptom of the underlying issues. I've been very conflicted. I've been very, very conflicted. I've told both the chamber and the city commission that, I've been on the fence on this issue. But the home rule issue, we cry about it all the time on the county commission with their state government. I mean, we are always crying about it with state government, and I am having a difficult time getting past that. Ultimately, this isn't our decision to make. This decision will be made up in Tallahassee. So this is just whether we do a letter of support or not. So it's not a yes or no. That's decisions to be made by another body. But as long as the city has taken this position, I can't support the letter at this time. I do so, though, unhappily, because I do believe we need a portion of that preserved. But I think we need to go back to the drawing board and work this out and start to regain the level of trust amongst each other.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Mason?
Commissioner Robinson very eloquently put, with all of us local government makes about home rule, I have to support the city of Northport's position in this, but I think it's a great opportunity for the city and the Conservation Foundation to continue to talk and for that mutual trust erosion to get fixed, because I think if it doesn't, a whole county, not just the city of Northport, but a whole county, will pay for it.
Let me, I don't know where to start with this. Could wave a wand. The perfect situation here, obviously, is to take probably what would be the northern 6 sections and wherever the line comes out and put that under conservation easement or public ownership and protect it. And then the area that the city of Northport has identified as future needs for commercial use, have the city of Northport buy that and control it through some type of planning. And but we don't have that. I guess my understanding is we have a seller that wants to sell the whole piece versus parts of it. Well, overall, this is a really interesting conversation between local governments. We talk about home rule of the cities. We also have home rule of Sarasota County, and part of this property is in Sarasota County. And it's been identified as land that, being environmentally sensitive land, that's important under our comprehensive plan to protect. Now, I understand that the area that the city is most concerned about was annexed into the city. I heard today, and I'm glad someone identified the date of 2000. So whose home rule controls in this scenario? This land's important to all the citizens of Sarasota County, the environmentally sensitive part, and the commercial part is important to the city of Northport and also to us for future tax base and economic development. So it's real interesting that, I guess, where does Sarasota County home rule come in on this too, and the balance of the environmentally sensitive land? I was in favor of sending a letter supporting the purchase of it, but adding any language that the chamber wanted or the city of Northport wanted that came out and said, carve out, be prepared to surplus those lands that are along the interstate. Because truly, from my understanding, those aren't the most environmentally sensitive, if at all. But it doesn't appear that that can occur, or that may send the wrong message that it's somehow Sarasota County versus the city of Northport. But this is a real interesting dynamic of the home rule debate. And so I'm not hearing the support to send any type of letter for this particular property with any significantly qualifying language that says, protect it, recognize home rule of the city of Northport, be prepared to carve that out, go ahead and surplus it, because my concern is if it remains in private hands, the public access that Commissioner Robinson's talking about, the wildlife corridor that goes along the north part of those properties, future laws can change in regards to wetlands and how they're used. We're at a unique time in coming out of a recession. I don't know what this property would go for in the future. I'm sure it'll be a lot higher. So this is a tough debate. Commissioner Caragiullo, then Commissioner Robinson.
You bring an interesting point. I think that, again, it's been acknowledged that there is a significant value environmentally, but the issue is the property owner is not willing to split the parcel up. And who knows, after these discussions, this is all going to be part of a process. Maybe this thing can be retooled and restarted and repackaged and we can get down the road. But I think that we're wandering into some real conflict here. But I agree 100% with what you said. I wish there was a way to facilitate via a document some increased dialogue to get to where I believe everyone wants to go. Everyone. So,
Commissioner
down the
Robinson.
record.
Yeah, I think another piece of history that two of us out of the five of us experienced was in 2011, there was we were asked for a letter for SwiftMud to support SwiftMud's purchase of the land, knowing all that previous history that you cited before, Commissioner Hines. And the city of Northport, we had not even voted on it when the city commission, I think, I'm trying to characterize it. I was there at that meeting, and they were upset. They were angry that we were even considering writing a letter at that time in 2011. And we knew it was on our list for environmentally sensitive lands. We declined to write a letter of support in 2011. So that's an important piece of the history that needs to be understood, that this is not the first time we've, if we go in that direction, which it sounds like it, that we've declined to write a letter of support. It's actually happened in the past, and it's been in conflict with the city of Northport that issue occurred. So there is a history to this piece of property. Obviously, we fought over it. When it was Isles of Athena, there was lots of battles over it. I wish there was a way. The city of Northport also in their second had a discussion also about it, about whether they could add that language, and they ultimately declined to add the language, I think because there's a lack of trust that it will actually happen, that it will actually be carved out. And like, this goes back to my original statements about trust and process. And so this has got to be improved to make sure that everybody's on board next time with the full knowledge of the positions of local government as well.
Mr. Caragiolo?
The other thing is the whole, it's difficult to do that because you have a very long process and it's hard to know what's going on. We don't have everyone in a room discussing what we can and can't do. However, the optimist in me sees the purpose of having these discussions is to put on a record what the ideas are of this body. So, one could leave here with look. Our philosophy seems to be in place for preservation. It's the codification in this case that's really, causing the problem. So I think that there's plenty of evidence to show that this body has an interest in preserving the environmentally sensitive lands, just based on this discussion.
Anything else? Is there a motion in regards to the third property, the Walton Tract?
Well, I think to be consistent with what we've done with the other two pieces, I'd move that we not send a letter of support for this application.
There's a second?
Second, you're talking for the third piece of
For
property.
the third piece only.
Orange
Mhm.
Hammock. Moved by Commissioner Mason, second by Commissioner Robinson. Discussion? I'll add to this. Because there's not support for this and having qualifying language in a letter, I will support the motion because I believe it's important to be unanimous in this situation. I don't want to create a fight with the city of Northport, but I truly believe the environmentally sensitive lands that have been identified on this property needs to be in public ownership, and we got to find a way to do it. And so, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Chair votes aye. Passes unanimously. So what we'll do is we can take the letter that's been provided by the Conservation Foundation, tweak it a little bit today, email it so that it's clear that we support the first two properties identified, and leave it at that. And hopefully that helps. And thank you all for being part of this, and hopefully we learn from this process. Back to you, Mr. Harmer.
Thank you,
I
Chair.
guess, do you all need to see the letter before it goes? It needs to go today?